Hello, my lovely hummingbirds, and welcome back to another episode of Rate It here on POPCulture with your lovely host, Monroe. The only reason I'm giggling, and if you've been following POPCulture on this long, you know typically the weeks do start off with makeup and motivation. Unfortunately, life, love, and the journey of self-healing, Lord have mercy, it was taking a toll on me. So this week is going to start off with Rate It, and we are going to be doing a Rate It on none other than Aventura. If you saw anything to do with my birthday, you know that I so happily and thankfully was able to go thanks to my brother and my sister-in-law. Shout out to them. They are amazing. I want to cry still. Last time I saw Aventura was their last concert like 13 years ago, and we went to this one. It was for the last, and then this one was for Cerrando Ciclos. So we're gonna do a full what I thought of the show, my experience viewing Aventura, and just a bit of like the band and everything. Also, we're gonna create this makeup look, or recreate it. That's the makeup look I had for the concert. The only issue is I don't actually remember what I used. So we are gonna guess and try and recreate it to the best of my makeup abilities. I was like, no, I'm not gonna record it. It's fine. I'll remember. Don't remember. It's been so long since the concert. I'm just like, you know, it would have been smart to write it down, but I didn't. Anyway, my chit chat aside, yeah, let's get into the makeup look, and then we'll get into everything Aventura. Teehee. Okay, enjoy the makeup look. Hi, my lovely hummingbirds. To kick off today's makeup look, we are adding our LYS Grip Hydra Serum Primer all over our face. Now, mind you, we did already prep our skin with a moisturizer, waited for that to dry, and now we're applying this on top of it just to give us an extra layer of protection, not only to our skin but also to our makeup, to really help set that canvas for this gorgeous orange look that we're gonna do today. And because who has time for waiting for this to dry? I definitely don't, so we're gonna grab our hand fan and just fan away. The wind is clearly a paid actor in this one, because y'all, I was trying to do this as quickly as possible. For this next portion, we're using the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer, and let me tell you, when I applied, I knew, I was like, ooh, I put on a little too much, so we're just gonna blend our life away and use this as a third primer on the skin realistically, because this makeup look became a trust the process quite quickly. And also in the recreation, I cannot say that that did not happen in the first go as well, because I was like, we need to make sure that no matter the tears I cry, no matter the sweat that happens at this concert, our makeup will stay put. Can you tell I'm a little nervous about this look? Anyway, we're going to go in with the Natasha Denona palette, and we're going to start off with the shade Ixia on the outer crease of our eye as well as the upper brow bone area, and really blending that inward so that we cover the entirety of the area just above the crease. Once we've gone ahead and applied that, we're going to go in with the Glam Baddie Purple Haze palette in the shade Pass It, and we're going to apply that from the inner corner of our eyes all throughout, blending, not fading, blending into the Natasha Denona shade that we used there, and also kind of feathering it out so it's a little subtle on the eyelid but not as defined as it is on the inner corner. Was really going for like a reverse ombre look on the eyeshadow as far as the oranges are concerned. And because I'm internally saying what the fuck when it comes to this, we're going in the So Jaded ColourPop palette in the shade Sunstone, and we're applying it over that gorgeous reddish orange because I was like, I made it sparkle one way or another, and it's not the next shade we're using, so it's gotta be this one. It makes the most sense for it, and thankfully it was. Amazing, gorgeous, glamorous. Definitely more convinced I am than when we first started, and we're going to take that same shade, that shimmery golden orange shade, and apply it to our eyelids, blending all of that together. And last but not least, we are going in with the shade Plantasia from the Natasha Denona palette as well, and we are applying this to our brow bone area, really bringing the shimmering, the shine, the sunsets, the closing of a cycle to this makeup look. And now that we've completed our eyes, we're going to start on the face with the Say Skin Tint in the shade 5. And we're applying that everywhere. I know it looks so tan, but trust me, once everything gets blended out, it just looks absolutely beautiful and pristine and the same color as the rest of my body. While I was trying to go lightweight, and I do love me a good dewy, I was like, I cannot be sweating my butt off in this and look like I'm melting. So we're going to go in with the Huda Beauty loose setting powder in the shade Cupcake, and we are doing an overall application instead of just doing an extra layer of foundation on top of the skin tint. We're doing the pressed powder. We're doing this because, y'all, I was dancing, I was bouncing, I was doing everything under the sun, bachateando, and I was like, we will not melt this face away. Up next, because I was feeling iffy about all my liners, I was like, we're gonna go in with the Urban Decay 24/7 eyeliner in the shade Perversion, and really focusing on that lash line area. Don't worry, that's not the only eyeliner we are using for this look. Yes, we doubled up the eyeliners. Before I forget, we totally have to go in there with our concealer. And we're just applying a little bit on the under eye area as well as the high points of our face and anywhere else that might need some concealing, just to really bring this look together. And of course, we grab our beauty blender and we start blending that bitch out. Just tap, 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 as quickly as we possibly can. And once we did that, because my eyes will be shedding tears of joy, we cannot set it enough. So we're going to go back in with the Huda Beauty loose setting powder in the shade Cupcake, and we're really going to just press it on in there. Not so much that we're like completely fully baking where there's like a ton of it on there, but definitely enough to have a bit more of a grip on that under eye area, because trust me when I tell you, I definitely cried. And while I typically do not sweat on the T-zone area where it's not that very oily, I still do just want to do it there just in case, because you never know, especially with the humidity that it was there. And now we're going to dust off that excess powder just to continue with the makeup look and brushing off anything so it doesn't look a little too crazy. Now for the Juvia's Zulu palette, we're going to take that bright orange, yep, and it is going to be our blush. Like I said, we are creating an orange look, okay? Emanating the sunshine, the sunset to the end of a cycle, emanating the creativity of our chakras, and really layering it on in a downward sweeping motion so we don't disrupt the rest of the makeup that we've already applied, as well as some to the nose area because I'm trying to look blushing and beautiful and like a baddie. And then we're gonna go in with that brown and same, just applying as a contour slash bronzer. It is a little warm in comparison to what I usually use, but I was going for a very specific summery sunsets look with this one, y'all. And believe me when I tell you, do not let the bright orange colors that are so vibrant on my skin fool you. We went in with the Milani Cosmetics in the shade Sunset Glow, continuing that sunset look, but also because this is one of my more subtle highlights where it is super buildable, but the tone that it is goes really well with creating a like barely there but totally there if the light hits it just right look, which I absolutely love. And this is what I was talking about. We went in with the Makeup Forever Aqua Resist eyeliner pen to not only go over that lash line area, but make sure that our eyeliner is staying put and not moving and resisting all of my happy tears as I sing my heart out to some Aventura. Alright, y'all know the drill. I'm gonna go do the rest of my face and I will see y'all in a second. And there she is. It's giving sunset, it's giving sunshine, it's giving look at that bold lip, and I'm so happy that we are twinning and that I figured out how to do this makeup look. But that's it for me for you for today, my lovely hummingbirds, as far as the makeup portion is concerned. Now let's go on to the rest of the video. So, what do we think about the makeup look? Do we love it? Do we hate it? Is it giving love and hate? So, a brief history about the band, which, like, okay. Yes, your girl got a shirt. How could I possibly not? I cannot articulate. I have loved Aventura my whole life. The first bachata song I ever learned how to dance was Aventura. They helped me get through my angsty years in life. They helped me in love and out of love and a journey of life, love, and self-healing. Because there is nothing like putting on a bachata song and just getting to it, right? So obviously we're going to start with a bit of a brief history about the band. Now, who is Aventura? Wait, is it on the shirt? Hold on, the name is on the shirt. Who is Aventura? Aventura is a mostly Dominican, except for Romeo, who is half Puerto Rican, bachata band that was formed in the Bronx in New York City around 1993. And officially formed under their manager Alvin Polanco, who discovered them, had them perform on a float, and he labeled them as Los Teenagers in July 9th, 1995, when I was a year old. And from there, they did not immediately have the success that you now know and love today. If you listen to Aventura, if you're like, Monroe, I've never heard Aventura a day in my life, I promise you, you have, you just don't know it's them. They are not only national, but international superstars. Honestly, they are a phenomenon. However, they did not have that immediate success. And with their release of Trampa de Amor, only sold about 5 copies. Enter 1996 Julio Cesar Garcia as their new manager. And then fast forward about 3 more years or so of building the band and getting them that like boy band stardom with the help of also Franklin Romero. In November 9th, 1999 was the big commencement of the Aventura that we know and love today, with the release of Generation Next, which gave this like urban bachatero type of thing. The reason that Aventura is also super big and famous and popular as they are is because they are the first non-Dominican band to make it in the world of bachata. Like, obviously they're Dominican, but I mean actually originating in La República Dominicana or in Puerto Rico. They are, granted Puerto Rico is stateside, but still making it from New York. And which this I didn't actually know, and I was researching and I was like, am I a true fan? Toby Love started in Aventura. He did the backup vocals for Believe and Gone on We Broke the Rules, which released July 2nd, 2002. He then later on left to do his own solo career and all that. Shout out to Soy Igual Que Tu, because that song is a bop with Alexis Ibido. But other thing I didn't know, and if you guys are like, when I said boy band stardom and you were like, Aventura's a boy band? Well, as they started as Los Teenagers, which was basically a play on words on the word teenagers, so that anyone that was Spanish speaking or not could enunciate the word, which is why that was the original name of them. They were young. They were, I think, they were in their teen years for sure. And Gone is actually a cover of the NSYNC song Gone. I was like, wait, is this why it sounds so familiar? I had a total moment. So after the release of We Broke the Rules, Aventura was like a wildfire in the bachata scene from the years of 2003 to 2006. Peak Aventura. Okay, this was when Love and Hate came out and God's Project. I love those albums. Anyway. All the way to KOB Live, which released in December of 2006, being, I believe, their second live album. And then The Last came out in 2009. And 2 years later, they announced that they were leaving And I'm just like, pero por qué? They went on a hiatus in order to delve into solo projects, into their own things. Max and Lenny. Y'all, I didn't even tell you who the members are. So the members, Aventura was essentially formed by cousins Anthony Romeo Santos and Henry Santos, and then brothers Max and Lenny Santos. And they met because they were like, okay, we want to form a band, we don't know what to do, we want people to take this more seriously. They met up, bam boom pow. Aventura was born. Yeah, I did not. Why am I like freaking out right now? So in this hiatus of about 8 years, because they went on hiatus from 2011 up until 2019 with the release of Immortal, Max and Lenny released The Element, and Henry went on to do a solo career, and then Romeo went on to release 5 albums: Formula Volume 1, Formula Volume 2, Golden, Utopia, and the most recent Formula Volume 3. During the inception of Aventura and their growth to stardom and everything. So the reason that Anthony is called Romeo is because of 2 things. One, he wanted to distinguish himself from Anthony Santos, who is an established bachatero from La República Dominicana, also known as El Mayimbe, which when Romeo did the song with him, he featured on, oh my god, why am I blanking out now? It's because they've done 2 and I'm like, why am I mixing up lyrics over here? So they originally did Ciego de Amor in 2005, and the song itself tells this whole story of like the dad and the son are in love with the same woman type of situation. Saucy. And then Debate de Cuatro, it is Romeo, El Mayimbe, and 2 other greats de la bachata as well. All 4 of them basically arguing for the same woman. Yes, in the musical world of bachata, there is a lot of conversation about infidelity, taking somebody else's girl, cheating. I was gonna say fornicating, Lord have mercy. But he did want to make that distinguish from El Mayimbe, just so that people weren't like, oh, did he join a group? What's going on? Type of thing. And honestly, that 2005 release, iconic. Iconic song. So, I swear Aventura could definitely do the Kim Kardashian TikTok sound because it's iconic and I love to do iconic shit. Anywho, after that happened, there were other person involved in the creation of the image of the band was very like, okay, you know what, that's a really good idea. And they were like, and you also used he basically used like Romeo in the song Romeo y Julieta to do a very like, how I have Monroe on POPCulture is the best thing I can explain, where it is in a character that you're portraying in order to alleviate whatever anxieties or stresses or nervousness that you might feel while putting on a performance. Which for him, Romeo takes on this role of like very playboy Casanova, which is it's a bit of a stark contrast to like his actual character as a person, is what he's been described to say. Now, of course, the world of Aventura has not been stress and drama free since their inception to their breakup to now. The band has faced a lot of critiques over time, especially, I can't remember which. It was either Premios Juventud or Los Latin Grammys, one of the 2, but they came out, they did a performance, everyone was like, oh my god, they're like making bachata too urban and that's not what it's about. And it's like, but they're known as like the pioneers of urban bachata, but we're just gonna leave that alone. The reason why Aventura is known as urban bachata, I say we're gonna leave it alone, but clearly we're not. So they not only took influences that they grew up with of listening to the greats of the genre itself, but also mixing in more contemporary notes, mixing in from various genres, putting in some hip-hop, some R&B, some reggaeton collaborations like Yo with Don Omar, things of that nature. And have become a household name. If you are a Latino, especially a millennial, you, your parents, your grandparents, everybody knows who Aventura is, because they were in that peak time. So in the way that I view it, from that period of like 03 to 06, that was the developmental years for everyone that was a millennial, for everyone that was a Gen X, and their parents. Everyone could rock out to an Aventura song, right? And they have my whole heart and soul. So a little bit more breakdown to each of the band members. Romeo is the vocalist. Henry is the backing vocals. He also has a few of his own songs in the future where him and Romeo kind of do a little flip, and Romeo then does the backup, and then Henry does the lead parts of the songs. Then we have Max, who is an incredible bass player. Max Agende, killing it. And then Lenny, who is fucking sick on the guitar. As Romeo would say, so nasty, because amazing. So, as I mentioned, a little bit of drama, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of, oh my god, whose fault was it that the band was breaking up? And even in the last, Romeo does this whole thing where, like, and I feel like every artist that makes it to like pop star status or mainstream status, superstar status, ends up making a song revolving around the press. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Cardi B's press, right? Revolving around the press, everything that is said, all the statements, all the comments. He included like actual news clips and shit in there of things that were said about the band. And Romeo has been known to say that he likes the finer things in life, and saying that that was why the band couldn't stand him spending so much money doing all this stuff, blase blase blah. They face a lot of critiques over like sexualization or hypersexualization. Romeo faced critiques when like he would kiss some of the fans. I was never a lucky bitch. Okay, I'm done being a fool. Not really though. But from that, my favorite interview to date though is when Romeo went on Don Francisco Presenta. So for those of you that don't know, Don Francisco was an icon when it came to talk show television in the Latino community, in the Latino culture, and it started with Sábado Gigante. Think of it more like a variety show where they would have performers, they'd do interviews, they'd have El Chacal. If the performers were not fucking killing it, they do mini competitions. It was literally everything, all that in a bag of chips. And the specific interview that I'm talking about, he went on there, and I think Henry was also in the interview with him, and Paquita la del Barrio was part of this interview, and they're basically doing a sing-off. And of course, she had to do Rata de dos Patas, and I thought it was just the like, that fucking interview lives rent-free in my mind. Every day, I promise you. But let's go into a little bit more of like the presence of the band itself. So Aventura was and remains iconic to this day, not only because, as I mentioned, I feel like they were real big in those peak developmental years, but they also somewhat grew with the generation that they were a part of and made music for, as well as making sure that no matter the hiatus, no matter the time that has passed, they keep themselves very in the now, very aware, doing collaborations, especially like I feel like Romeo's solo projects did a bit better than the rest of the bands, just commercially speaking. And he made sure to do collaborations with other artists, with individuals that not only were within his range, like his genre, but also, as I mentioned, outside of it. I mean, he's done collaborations with Karol G, he's done collaborations with Rosalia, with Daddy Yankee, with Nicky Jam, he did one with Usher. Like, he's done collaborations with everybody under the fucking sun, right? And even after the band broke up, you didn't really, or at least I didn't, and y'all could correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, you didn't really hear a lot of bad mouthing of them to each other over not being in a band together, over all these things. I know when Immortal came out, everybody lost their shit. I lost my shit when they did the collab with Bad Bunny. Was I expecting a little more bachaton? Yes. But either way, I still love that fucking song. And they are a band that has lasted the test of time, because I really feel like there hasn't really been another Aventura. I don't think there will ever be another Aventura, if I'm completely honest with y'all. Granted, have we had our other younger artists that have come out in the world of bachata, like Prince Royce, like Extreme? Yes. Do I feel like they have had such a recognition and permanence? I feel like it fluctuates. But whatever party it is, whatever show you go to, anywhere that is going to play a bachata song, they are going to play an Aventura song. No matter how anybody's boyfriend feels about it. I cannot. Alright, y'all. So now let's go a little bit more into the show, specifically with thoughts that I had of the last one and thoughts of this one. So when it came to the last, that concert, honestly, it felt, I can't even say it felt like an end of an era, because it kind of did, but it was more bittersweet. Like, that hope was still there that the band might at some point in some future return and reunite and be Aventura again, right? Sang my heart out, sang all of their hits from, it was majority from the last specifically, versus this concert was a bit more, like Cerrando Ciclos was a bit more of not only their greatest hits, but also a mix of some of the new songs that they have since released. And honestly, it felt a little bit more like ode to the fans, a bit more relaxed. I did hear a few critiques about it prior to going to the show, where people were like, kind of mid and not the same energy I expected, blah blah blah. And when I was in the middle of it, I was like, what do you mean? Do you hear the screaming? Do you see the dancing? Were we at the same show? And they did perform here in Chicago. I thought it was a fucking joke. When my brother tells me on my birthday, oh, hey, just so you know, this weekend we're gonna go see Aventura, I was like, like, I had been so busy with just work and preparing for season 5 and doing all this stuff that, like, I was not focused in on who was gonna be in the city, what shows were gonna be happening, none of that, okay? And I was like, oh yeah, okay, because we're gonna go 13 years later, 13 years to the date, like, cracking mad fucking jokes. I'm like, we're probably just gonna go eat somewhere that they're having like a bachata night and we're gonna have a good time, right? We're gonna dance and like all that stuff. Bruh. I get ready and I'm like, I wonder if he's like bullshitting me. So I go to Google and I'm like, wait, they're actually here? This would be a very sick fucking joke. Then we can get in the car and I'm like, is this really happening? And my sister-in-law's like, that would be such a cruel joke. Why would we joke about that? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I just didn't think I would ever get to see them live again. So can you see how my eyes sparkle, y'all? Like, excitement supreme, okay? I love Aventura. Like, I have a lot of music that I love with all my heart and soul. A lot of artists that I love, a lot of bands that I listen to, like, plethora. But Aventura just holds this special place in my spirit. I'm just like, yes, you are everything and I love you. Thank you, precious babies. Anyway, not me fangirling over here, y'all. I swear Max and I made eye contact at a point. And I was like, yo. And he was like, yo. And I was like, this is the greatest day of my life. Anyway. We're gonna cue a little, like, cute clip of the show while I have a moment to fangirl. Enjoy the clip. I mean, do you see why I love it? I have said previously, dancing bachata is like having sex on hardwood floor with your clothes on and being sensual about it, which is why the dance style itself gets quite a lot of flack from people that are not really exposed to it, have not really experienced it or danced it themselves. It is a very passionate, very sexy dance, and I feel like Aventura really always brings that to the table. Now, why I think the critiques were a bit more like the show itself was a little mid, why it wasn't like peak Aventura, why it wasn't all that, like I mentioned, it felt a lot more relaxed. It felt a lot more like Aventura was genuinely just having fun with this concert, and honestly, I love that for them. They deserve to. It's been years, okay? Like, since they started with Los Teenagers, like, they deserve to have fun. The other thing, so Romeo got a full-on dad bod, and I love that for him. And I told my brother, I was like, wow, the dad bod really hit it for him right now, and it's top tier. Love it. He obviously wasn't out there doing all the same, what would be typical Romeo from the last time that they were together, moves and all the gyrating and everything. But he was still up there killing it. He was up there shaking some ass. He was doing everything, and he gave this like rant. Not a rant. He kind of did a monologue leading up to El Malo, which is one of my favorite songs of theirs. But going off about like the different loves of your life that a person will have, and it was honestly perfect. That was like, oh my god, amazing. One of the parts of the show that like it wasn't a bit, and I think we all thought it was because of the song that it was leading into with this person around the stage. You know, they were like, yo, like, chill, he's good, and security did end up taking them off stage, but I was like, wait, it took me a minute to be like, wait, holy shit, like, that's not a bit, like, that's actually someone running the stage at this point. Crazy. Some of my favorite parts, besides my delusional moments of Max, the visuals were amazing, the band itself was amazing, them not only focusing on the newer music that they have made as Aventura, but doing some of like those top hits really was everything for the fans. And like they said, it is Cerrando Ciclos. It is, this part actually kind of felt like an end to an era, and it was pretty bittersweet, not in like a we're never gonna get an Aventura project again. I don't think that whatsoever, but I do think that at this point in life where the band is, they're transitioning to a more mature, to a more what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I mean, they've been established, right? But a more mature audience content. If you're like, how is what they were singing about before not mature audience content, Monroe? How is that not that content? Well, they did start off in the band pretty young, where they started talking about like first loves and like the emotions that you feel when that first happens, and losing your first love and the first betrayal. A lot of firsts. And then they go into very like sexiness and like discovering what you like, what you don't like type of thing in the bedroom. And now even with, what was the fucking song that they played? Brindo con agua. That is the name of the song, where they dive a bit more into recovering after leaving a long-term relationship, a divorce, things of that nature, while they still put in like classic Aventura topics of infidelity and things like that. It feels more grown up, and I wish I could find the better, like a better verbiage for what I'm trying to say, but definitely felt like a good end, and it felt like a, not like a forever goodbye, but like a wait till you see what we have coming next type of energy. Amazing. Overall, show was a 10 out of 10. That shit was amazing. From the interludes to the melodies to them switching stages. They were like in the main stage, and then they had like a side stage in between the two. They brought guests down. It was a whole thing, super fucking cool. I loved it. I really did. But like I said, I'm a sucker for Aventura. Overall, would I go see Aventura again? Of course I would. I love these men. Absolutely. Am I excited for their next projects? While they did have some projects that were announced, I think it was around the time that Utopia was released, when like Immortal came out, that there are things that are a work in progress. I think it was as like late last year, early this year, when it was mentioned, like stay tuned for things coming soon type of thing. So I hope so. I hope we see another Aventura album. I hope we see them continue up with the momentum that they have had for a really long time, and can't wait to hear it. And Aventura, if you ever see this, I love you so much. Y'all, let me interview you for POPCulture. I was gagged, okay, when I at the concert. And that little pointy moment happened. My sister-in-law and I were like, did that actually just happen, or are we both fucking delusional? Amazing, 10 out of 10. From the show itself, to the fan interactions, to the fan respect, to their performance, and keeping the energy high throughout, which is not easy, especially because they do have a repertoire of music, and some are a bit on the softer side or cover more difficult topics, like La Niña, like Hermanita, things like that, dealing with assault on a child and physical assault to murder of a woman by her husband. Like, there are so many, not just sweet and pretty and melodious and like sexy parts of Aventura, they also do touch upon very real things that occur in life, as well as discussing like LGBTQIA plus rights. Like, they not only cover the fun parts of life, but also a bit of everything else. And they really did keep that momentum going. Their interactions with the fans that they brought down onto that second stage was really cool. I probably would have fucking frozen. I would have been like, damn, is this actually happening right now? I'll be like, I'll dance, you sing, because my voice is not that. But it was amazing. Like I said, definitely a show I would go see again, for fucking sure. If you haven't checked them out yet and you plan to, go. It's gonna be a fucking moment. It's gonna be incredible. You will keep dancing your ass off the entire time you're there. And honestly, I mean, I love me some Aventura, like I said, y'all. Coming to pop culture. I will fly to New York if you need me to. Okay. For like, as a wrap up of today's episode, I am gonna show another clip that I took of one of the songs, one of my favorite songs. So yeah, without further ado, as always, les mando mucha paz, muchos besos, y les recuerdo que miren hacia la luna, sending you much peace, many kisses, reminding you to always look up at the moon. I love you all so much. Have a good one. I'll catch y'all in the next one. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comment section. If you want to know more about Aventura, let me know, y'all. I can go on. But yeah, enjoy the clip. I love y'all. See you on the next one. Bye.